This week, you'll learn how to shoot a portrait with an off-camera flash. AdoramaTV presents Take and Make Great Photography with Gavin Hoey, where you'll learn how to take stunning photos and then polish them in post-production. Here's your host, Gavin Hoey.
Hello, I'm Gavin Hoey and you're watching AdoramaTV. Now in this video we're going to do a little bit of portrait shoot using off-camera flash. And we've actually come outside. We haven't come very far. This is just the side wall of my house, but it's the perfect background for an outdoor portrait session. Now as far as equipment goes, I'm using my Canon 5D Mark II and I'm using a Canon STE2 trigger to fire my little 580 flash gun here. Now, that means it'll all work with eTTL, and I can use the eTTL just to make my life so much easier. Of course, if you're a Nikon shooter, then you have your own CLS system, which does a broadly similar thing. Now, where am I going to put my flash? Well, I'm actually going to put it kind of here on the side. So we've got Harry here modeling for us. He's going to be my subject for today. And I'm going to put my flash, well, not right in front of Harry, because that would be a really boring picture, and we don't want to do boring pictures. I'm actually going to put it over here on the edge. So I'm going to put it here on the side, and then I'm going to fly it really high in the air. Now, good little tip here, if you're a bit short like me, before you fly it really high in the air, just set it up first. So I make sure it's on slave mode and it's set to the same channel as my STE2 trigger. I'm also going to angle it down as well because I need to have it coming down at a bit of an angle, and I've got my zoom set to 35mm. Right, let's pop that up there. And we're going to try and guess roughly where the light's going to go. And the idea is that the light should come down from the flash and hit Harry in the face and give us a nice kind of moody edge shot. Okay, so that's the idea. All I need to do is get myself way back here. So I'm going to start with standard kind of settings. Now, normally I can work up to 200th of a second in flash and still get a flash sync. So let's just turn this on. And we'll go for 200th of a second, and we'll choose something middle of the road. Let's go for f8 ISO 400, and we'll take a shot. Okay, Harry, are you ready? Yeah. Okay, so just relax. That's it. Pop yourself back against the wall, and we'll just take a shot. And the end result is, frankly, absolutely rubbish. I mean, I can see the lights coming down, but it's not really giving us anything other than just the straight ambient shot. So to get around it, I'm going to switch my STE2 onto high speed sync. Now that means I can go well beyond 200th of a second. I can actually put my shutter speed all the way up to 8,000th of a second. Now I'm going to do that, and I'm going to take a little shot and see how we go. So, okay, 8,000th of a second, it's a completely different shot. 8,000th of a second means that this is so fast, it's cancelling out the ambient light. And now only the speed light is giving us exposure. And that looks pretty good. So let's just take a couple of shots like that. Okay, here we go. So just relax, and we'll just take a proper shot this time. Brilliant, okay. And if you can just fold your arms up for me. That's it. Looking mean, looking moody. Shouldn't say that, you smile straight away. Okay. And just look down at the floor, and then I want you to look back at me on the count of 3. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Boom. Fantastic. Okay, now that's great, but there is a little bit of a problem, which is the direction of the flash and the direction that Harry is looking at me. I mean, he's looking at the camera, which is exactly what I asked him to do. But of course the light, which is our main and only source of light for this shot, is coming from 90 degrees. That means his face is being half lit and half in shadow. So this time I'm going to do that again, but rather than asking Harry to look at me, I'm actually going to ask him just to look up to the side towards the light. A little tip, never ask your subject to look at the light because it really does hurt. Okay, so this time rather than looking sort of here, just right about up there. So just past the light, but yeah, don't look at the light. Okay, so same thing again. Let's just put your foot up against the wall. That looks good. Cross your arms. Okay, that looks great. Fantastic. And again. Okay, so this time just put both feet on the floor. It's giving me a much stronger pose. I want a real mean, moody shot. Again, just look up there. Yeah. Yeah, you see, you're too nice to do mean and moody, aren't you? Okay, That looks good. That's giving me a really high arm for, there you go. That's the look we're going for. Okay, I'm going to come down slightly. Yeah, so those really are looking great. I'm really pleased with that. But we can change it in one more way. Now at the moment, the zoom on the head is on 35mm, which is great because it's giving us a nice wide beam of light. But let's change the zoom to 105 and see how that changes the shot. Okay, so I have to bring it back down, obviously. To change the zoom on a Canon, dead easy, there's a zoom button, and I can just wind it through until we get to 105, which on the 580 flash is as zoomed in as I can go. Okay, we'll angle it back as well. So I want the light to come in, hit Harry, but also I need some of the light to hit the wall as well. So it's ever so slightly angled towards the wall. Okay, and we'll do that again. Same pose, yeah. Okay. So that's it. And the difference now is quite marked. So now I'm getting a much thinner beam of light. Brilliant. And one last one. And there you go. So that gives us our shots in the bag, and it's all done thanks to the power of the TTL metering and the STE2 that can communicate with our flash gun. Now all we need to do is get these photos into Photoshop and give them a little work through. So let's see what we do there. There really is something to be said for getting the image right in camera as much as you can, because here we are inside of Photoshop CS6. If I open the RAW file into Adobe Camera Raw 7, then there's not really too much to do. It's a tiny bit underexposed. Actually, it's a fair bit. It's about a stop underexposed, but that's not bad. That's one of the beauties of RAW. It does give you that little bit of latitude. And other than that, I could quite happily stop here. But just to do something here, I think we're going to make this black and white and maybe just give it a bit more of an edge in contrast. So I'm not sure I really need to change anything else in here as such. That all looks pretty good at the moment. We may come back to that in a second, but for now I think I'm just going to put a bit of clarity in there just to give the bricks and the skin tones a little bit of an edge and a bite. Now I can see that these bricks are actually all bowing a little bit, and that is barrel distortion that I do tend to get with my lens a little bit, but it's not a problem because I can jump over to lens correction, go to the profile tab and click enable lens profile correction, and that will automatically remove the barrel distortion, and it just works. I mean, that was before and that's after, and you can see how it sort of bends it around. It's really clever. So that's corrected the barrel distortion, and we did the adjustments on the basic panel. I think black and white, I'm just going to do it here on the basic, take the saturation away, and that gives me a quick and dirty way of making my picture black and white. Now I'm going to grab my adjustment brush and let's take the clarity and really max that out, everything else on 0. I'm just going to paint a little bit of clarity in here. Well, I say a little bit, of course I'm painting quite a lot of clarity, but I do like a bit of clarity. And just on those bricks, so that really brings up the texture on those bricks. I can see that there's this little hot spot here where the flash was quite close to the wall. So let's make a new brush and we'll bring the exposure down to -1.5 stops, I think. And we'll just paint there with 1.5 stops of light. Yeah, I think maybe I could get away with a tiny bit less, maybe a stop. There you go. So that just gives me a little bit of light up there. Other than that, I think I'm pretty much there. Let's just go back to the basic panel, and I think I could probably just bring my white point up a bit, having looked at the picture with the adjustment brush and the clarity turned up. So just increasing my whites did the job. Now that's actually just burnt out that area, so wouldn't you know it, I'll have to go back to my adjustment brush and take that down. But that's sometimes how it goes in Photoshop. You push one bit, you pull another, and you have to kind of balance things up a little bit. So I am back to 1.5 stops. Okay, I'm happy there. Let's click on the open image and we'll leave RAW behind and we'll go into Photoshop. Now there's not too much to do here inside of Photoshop. There's only really one bit to do, and that is this little thing on the wall, this little cover that I need to remove. Now I could use the ordinary clone stamp tool. Because I'm in Photoshop CS6, I'm just going to grab the patch tool because it has content aware, and all I have to do is just draw very roughly around that, like that, I can drag that off to the side and just paste in like that. So it'll rebuild it for me, and there's my new bit of wall. And there you go. That's how I finished the picture and gave it that nice kind of black and white edge. I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.
Adorama TV is brought to you by Adorama, your best source for the equipment and knowledge you need. For all the latest photography, video, and computer gear, visit Adorama.com. Place your order by 7 p.m. and it ships the same day. Plus, the next time you're in New York City, be sure to visit our store located on 18th Street between 5th and 6th Avenue. Check out the Adorama Rental Company for professional cameras, lighting, computers, and more. We'll help you make the best selection to match your needs while giving you the knowledge to achieve the best outcome from your rental. Adorama is your complete solution for equipment, printing, training, and more. Adorama, more than a camera store.